Guys, welcome to Junk Journal January. You will not believe this, but I just filmed an entire lesson for this repeat, and I forgot to hit record. So I'm starting all over, and I'm starting all over with a brand new non-idea because I don't want to do another page just like the other. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue down Mod Podge down some scraps. I really hope I'm recording this time. I don't have the strength for this today. Okay, so I'm just gonna Mod Podge down some scrap papers. And this is corrugated cardboard. I love to use it. You can peel it apart. And I save it a lot just so I can add it to my pages. I like the texture of it. I think it's an awesome substrate. And use it on the bases of your pages. And it's really one of my favorite things to use. I say that loosely because I just kind of really use whatever hits me that day. And one day it might be corrugated cardboard, and the next day, you know, it's gonna be vellum paper. So, I'm sorry, my dog is bugging me. Let me pause this and get her some food. Okay, I just double checked to make sure I actually am recording. I can't do this again. So anyway, like I said, I'm not even going to go with what my original plan was. This is gonna look totally different. So I did go ahead and glue down some paper, and then I'm going to put some gesso over the top of it. And that way, if I use any alcohol inks, watercolors, anything like that, it will not bleed through the pages. This is white gesso. Honest to goodness, you can get clear. I think for this project, the white works well because I am trying to white out the page a little bit more than I usually would. The page that you will not see, I was not trying to white out, so I went really light because I do not have clear gesso. So, aren't you just dying to know what that page was? Don't be. It's fine. You'll see it at some point. So, anyway, we've got some gesso on here. Now, you can wait, let it dry, you know, be proper. Oh, sorry about my arm. But I'm really not super proper most of the time with my art. I just kind of go with the flow. Okay. So I did dry, I paused it and I dried it a little bit. And I want this page to be pretty white initially. That's my initial thought. So I'm just going to add some white matte paint to see if I can whiten it up a bit. I just love when it catches on the edges like that. I don't know why I do, but it's just one of those, kind of like the scissors through the wrapping paper at Christmas. It's just one of those feelings like, yes, I like that. So I've got this page fairly white, not perfectly white, but fairly white. And did I mention my pages repeat? So I don't think I did. Everything is going to be about repetitive marks. Okay. Okay, so now for the background, I dried this off a little bit. It's still not totally dry. I'm, you know, messy. And I'm gonna use some woody pencils, and I'm just going to kind of loosely draw. This is nothing, obviously, right? Just kind of what feels right to me at the moment. So there's that. And then I love these because you can just spray them and they loosen up. And you can do whatever you want. You can, you know, I'm using a different finger for each color. At least I was. And, you know, these might wind up covered up. I don't know what the plans are, but I wanted to kind of tie some colors into the background based off the image, which you guys, I don't know where this image came from. I just found it. in my scraps. Somebody probably printed it off me at some point, but I don't remember doing it. So I can't even tell you where it came from. But I'm going to pause and I'm going to dry this up again. So now we're at the image, right? Like I said, I do not know where she came from. I was going through my scrap piles trying to figure out what to do, and there she was. So I did spray her because she's a printout. I sprayed her with some sealant. So hopefully she won't run. We'll see. We can be hopeful though. I sprayed the front and back, but I didn't let her dry I didn't do quite enough layers, I don't think. I'm gonna use some Mod Podge. One way you can really help this stick is if you do both sides, the paper that you're gluing down and the paper that you're gluing to. I don't do that every time. I'm just trying to make it stick this time. And we're just going to put her down. I'm trying to not have a big wrinkle across her face because I'm a little bit notorious for that. All right, so see my wrinkle? I'm gonna have a wrinkle right there. It's okay. All right, so there's my girl. The reason I went ahead and grabbed her after I saw her was because I thought she was really good for repetitive marks since she's already got some marks on her. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add some marks to her face. I don't know what the shape is. I don't know if it's from the print job or if it was part of the original page, but I kind of feel like it should be a tear. So I'm just going to use a Posca marker just to start, a Posca pen, and I'm just going to color it blue. Her eyes are blue, so I'm going to make them a little bit brighter. Okay, so there's that. Now, if you look, there's some blue marks here, so hey, you know what? Why not? Let's just go ahead and start adding some marks. These might get covered up, they might not. She kind of reminds me of the 80s. And I can say that because I was a teenager in the 80s, you guys. That's right. Grew up listening to, who was in the 80s? Def Leppard. Anybody I could listen to that would tick my mom off. Weren't teenagers, great. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then I love this smudged eyeliner that she's got going on here. That's not the right pencil. That's the right pencil. So I'm going to add some more. I can really smudge it up. You guys used to wear your makeup like this? Really big, smudgy 80s makeup. It was fun. So kind of got her. And I'm going to just do this one here because there would be an eye about there. Okay. And I think I'm just going to dip my finger in some water just to make it a little bit more smudged. All right. So we've got her. Now I want to tie this in. So to tie this in, I need a little bit of like white and yellow. So let's see what I've got here. Just going to use some white. I don't know if it's so much a yellow or a tan. Let's see. I'll do some King's Gold and see what that does. Oh, I made a mess. Okay. So I'm going to pick up some white and I'm going to pick up some King's Gold. And that's a little dark. So until I get to approximately the color that I'm kind of viewing this as, and then just kind of, I work it and work it and work it till it looks like it's part of the page. And I think that's pretty decent. It's not great, but it's decent. I'm gonna add some more white here because there were some kind of stripes. I'm being really quiet while I think through this. And then there's some of that darker gold. here. And I'm just trying to get this to blend with the page. That's my goal. So that's a little better. I probably should have gone a little more brown, but I think I'm just gonna leave it. I can easily tie it in by bringing the gold up. It's kind of, there's a big glow on this page and it's bothering me, and I hope you can see everything. But so there's my kind of King's Gold. I'm gonna do this with my left hand just because I don't want my arm in front of the camera. I am not left-handed. So this is not going to be perfect, but that's okay. That's okay, that's life. Okay, so I've got the little gold here, little yellow hair. I'm gonna go ahead and just pick up some of the extra, and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use this brayer to pick up some of the color and roll it on the page to kind of see how that just adds some texture. I'll tell you what, this is not a page I would normally do, so it's kind of interesting to see where this is going. I'm finding it interesting. So she's got these marks, and they're like stamp marks. So I feel like I should probably be using some stamps, but I'm not. I am going to grab some color. I tried to match those colors as best as I can. And for the marks, I decided I'm just going to kind of do some stencils. Okay, so you guys, my stencils are a mess. They are always a mess. I don't clean them like I should. I know, you can yell at me. So I'm just gonna pick up this pink. It is Diva Pink. And I'm just gonna stencil a couple letters here and there. I don't want any rhyme or reason to it. Just want a couple basic letters floating around. I probably should have made them more crooked, but it's okay. I think I might do some blue. Oh, of course I picked up pink. That makes sense. Okay, some blue, which is probably gonna wind up lavender now, but we'll see. And I'm not even gonna fill in the letters all the way, because again, I don't want it to look too planned. Okay, so here's some letters on here. I also picked up this, what is it? Imperial Red, because it seemed to match pretty well with her lips. And there were a few red marks here and there. Not much in the red. So this, this stencil, this is a mess. Let's see. I don't know if I'm gonna use it. So I'm gonna pick up some Imperial Red, and I'm just gonna use this stencil here. This Faber-Castell, I think, Castell. Big pack of them, and I destroy these on a fairly regular basis. And I don't want a ton of red, and that might be a little more than I was planning, but it's okay. We're just gonna kind of tie it in. I want that a little bit darker than it was. So much for my light stenciling, right? And maybe a little bit right here. I just laid that right in there, didn't I? Okay, so we've got some good color here. We've got some good marks. And I'm gonna go ahead and pick up this blue again, Pool Blue. And I'm just gonna color in her eye a little bit, so it looks a little bit better. When I used my Posca marker, it was a little wet, so it kind of tore the paper a tiny bit. So, of course, I just tried to be so careful and I messed this up. Okay, so there's the page so far. Now, again, the point of this page is repeating marks, so we're gonna do some repeating marks. I will also tell you, I don't think any art page is complete unless it's got some black on it. There's just something about the depth of black that I just think brings a page to life. But first off, we're gonna try and figure out what kind of marks we want. Maybe some dots. Just the repeating marks. Not really working well, but it's okay. Okay, so there's a few repeating marks, and then I'm thinking some squares, but I want them more watery. So I'm gonna pick up this blue. My goodness, my brush is dirty. How bad is that? Okay, there, make it kind of watery. And I'm just gonna do some big kind of rectangles up the page. You think I'm about to pick up a color there? I did, I picked up the red. Let's see if I can go back and cover it. Oh goodness, Sherry. Okay, so anyway, there's your basic idea. You see what I'm doing. I'm just kind of picking up some color. And then I actually think I might do some splatter. Since this is 80s, making me think 80s, that would be pretty ideal for splatter, right? It also gets everywhere when I splatter. My daughter gets so mad at me because I just splatter everything that I'm working on. Okay, so there's my page. Now I talked about the black. It needs black. I feel like it needs black. So I'm just gonna take my Stabilo all while my page is still wet. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm very loosely going to go across here. All right, and where's my spray bottle? Here it is. Get that black kind of running. I love the Stabilo. Oh, the black, the way it will run. And it's gonna kind of dirty up the page. That was my goal there. And since this is such an 80s vibe, I just thought of something, and I hope it turns out like I'm thinking. I might hate this, but I was thinking of my high school textbooks. We had to cover them in paper bags to protect them, and then we'd write all over them, right? I usually had song lyrics. Of course, I had, you know, you guys remember this. That was my initials. And these, actually, this is funny because those are my husband's initials. SMMS. You would always have like who, you know, love, I love you. You would have all these little random notes. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. All over your notebook in the 80s. You see, you guys now, you have computers, so you don't get the fun of doodling all over your notebook and accidentally letting the guy that you have a crush on see that his name's all over your notebook. So I'm going with that with the 80s, and I'm trying to think of some lyrics from the 80s, and all I can think of is Prince, and it's really not working. This would have been like 1985 maybe for this look. So what is that, like Wham? Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, and it is a repeat. So I think I'm gonna put that on there just a second. Okay, so I finished that. I had turned it off so I could stamp out my words, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. And here you go, the finished page. An ode to the 80s. Repeat, repetitive marks, and go, go. I hope you really enjoyed this lesson or this class or whatever you want to call it.